In this lesson, we're going to be looking at really the foundational pieces of the relational database model, and that is the relational table. Now, a table is built to hold relational data and allow it to be related to other tables in the form of constraints and joins. Tables are composed of rows and columns. So a row is going to be an individual instance of information, something like a customer record, whereas a column is going to be an individual type of information, so a first name or a last name or a zip code. And the tables we're referring to in this lesson are known as heap organized tables. They can be distinguished from a couple of other types of tables, but they're called heap organized because they store data basically in a heap. That is to say, as the data comes in, that's how it's stored in a table. When we create a table, we have to declare data types for each of the columns. So we said that a column was an individual type of data. So a first name will always have character data. A date will always have date data, and a number will always have numeric data. So when we define the columns for our tables, we use a data type. And the data types that we're going to look at are kind of the basic ones, although there are many other types, are char, varchar2, number, and date. So char is a character-based data type that holds character data. When we define a char data type, we use a max number of characters. So we specify the char, C-H-A-R, and then in parentheses, a digit for the max number of characters. So if we had a char 5, we have a 5-digit fixed width character that can hold those 5 characters. So it basically allocates 5 characters. So if we have the word hello in a char 5, we see that it fills all of the 5 spaces that are given to it for a maximum. If we were to use a state code like NY in a char 5, these extra spaces would actually be essentially wasted, because char 5 will allocate those out for the purposes of storage, but will not actually store anything in them. So with char, we make the distinction of a fixed width data type. Char is a data type that Oracle does not recommend that users use any longer. That is to say, to not create tables with char. It is still allowed and still works within the Oracle 12c database. However, a number of features that they have can have problems with it, so there can be bugs associated with using the char data type. Essentially, they no longer test using char data, so it's best to go to our next data type, which is varchar2. So varchar2 is defined in the same way, where x in the parentheses is the max number of characters. However, varchar2 is a 5-digit variable width data type. So if we have the word hello in a varchar2 5, is how we would say it, all of those spaces would be used. However, if we used a state code like NY in a varchar2 5, those extra spaces would not be allocated. So there's essentially a little bit of savings there in terms of storage when we use a variable width data type. The number data type is defined by 2 variables, if you will, that we define for it. P, S, where P is precision and S is scale. Precision will be the max number of digits in the number. Scale will be the number of digits to the right of the decimal place. So example, we could have a number 5, 2, and this number would be acceptable. This number would be acceptable, even though it's only 4 for the precision. Basically 4 characters fits within the 5 precision. And this as well. But this number would not, because even though it is 5 digits, essentially the scale that we define, a 2, allows for 2 digits after the decimal point. And so if this number was to be updated, say that column, and we had 2 digits to the right, we would then have too many digits, causing an error. So this number would not be allowed. The date data type is simply data containing date and time information. And this can be extracted using the toChar function when we want to see the specifics of date and time. By default, Oracle has a standard date format that it shows whenever we select data from a date column. There are certain rules about tables and columns concerning their naming, so it's important to understand those so we know what goes into the choosing a name for a column in a table. So table and column names need to be between 1 and 30 characters, no more than 30 characters. For the digits in the names, we only allow alphanumeric values and the hash sign, the underscore, and the $sign. A table must begin with the letter between A and Z, and it's not case specific. In this case, it could be lowercase or uppercase. Reserved words can't be used as table or column names, so a name like select for a table would not be allowable. However, most of these rules can be overridden using the double quotes. So if we use double quotes around a table or a column name, we can break some of these rules. However, I would highly advise against it, because when a database administrator looks in the data dictionary for a table or a particular column, they're looking with the expectation that they're going to find that in all uppercase. So if we create a table in lowercase using the SQL statement create table, Oracle will store the name as uppercase. But when we use the double quotes, that forces Oracle to store it exactly as it was defined. And so we may be looking for a table with uppercase letters, and actually they've been stored as lowercase letters because someone has created them using the double quotes. So the format of the create table syntax is going to be create table and the table name, a parentheses, and then column data type, and so on, then a in parentheses and a semicolon. So let's connect to our system user and create a simple table. We have a column 1 of car 5, column 2, that's data type varchar2, 5. Column 3 will be a number 5, 2. Column 4 will be a date. Execute the statement. Table was created. Now if we do a select star from test table, we'll see those columns defined.